Hi guys, Dean Casmento speaking again, and welcome to episode number 3 of My Virtual Coach. Now today it's all about priorities. How can we go about creating a laser-like focus to ensure that we get more done with less time? And I think both you and I would both agree that it's so important that we really get quite succinct with how we spend our time, because if we don't spend our time, somebody else is going to spend it for us. So let's get straight into it. So here we go. It's a 4-quadrant process, and you may have done this process before, so just bear with me. If you have done it before, why not get it started again? Okay, so we've got 4 quadrants. Okay, 4 quadrants in this little model where we go ahead and break our tasks down into 1, are our tasks urgent and important? 2, some of those tasks that are not urgent but important. 3, some of those things that we're doing are tasks that we're doing that are urgent and not important. And 4, over in this bottom right hand corner, some of those things that we're doing that are not urgent and that aren't important. So to do this first, we need to identify, well, what do these areas mean? I'm just going to take a step back so you can keep on looking at it. I'm just going to point to this one here. So when we look at the areas of urgency and areas that are important, we're talking about those things that must be done. We're talking about those things that are obviously needed for life. It could be anywhere from categories of thought that fall into, like, taking bathroom breaks, to going ahead and, I don't know, if your toilet breaks and you need to fix the toilet because water's going to go everywhere and we're going to have all sorts of troubles. It could be simple things like brushing your teeth. It could be consuming food. It could be looking after your health. Any of those sorts of activities, okay, that are important to us. Also, it could be meeting specific deadlines, okay, and generally those things, as I said, that are important to us. So that's urgent and important. Not urgent, but important, are when we start to explore some of those long-range goals that we're looking at achieving. Some of those, it's like the long-range planning. It's to do with creativity. It's going about looking at ways to, I suppose, enrich our health, and going about looking at ways to allocate time for our hobbies, or building thriving relationships. It could be anything that's tied into, still areas that really are important to us, but we don't necessarily need to do it right now. Okay, but they definitely do need to be attended to. And then down here, urgent and important. Okay, it's urgent. The perception is that it's urgent, but it's not necessarily important. And I think you already know the answers to this. It's like those phone calls. You get a phone call, but you probably didn't need to answer the call. It's those emails via those auto email responders that distract our focus. But they come in the guise of being urgent. It's things like some of the meetings that we have. I reckon 90% of the meetings that we do sit in, it's outcomeless. That sort of stuff. It's opening up junk email. It's going ahead and even actually reading some of the emails that we get that aren't important to us. So we're thinking about some of those things. They do come through our filters as in urgent, but really are not important at all. And over here, we look at not urgent and not important. These are the things that really, move us away from living a fulfilled life, to be honest. Okay, it's not a place for recreation. It's not a place for relaxation. It's almost like some of those things that we do, like watching TV for long periods of time, or having, conversations that aren't fruitful. It's almost like, he said, she said over the seashore, the sort of gossiping stuff. It might be shopping. A lot of people, there are a lot of things that we do that we use as a camouflage, that we use as a strategy to avoid things that need to get done. So what we want to do is identify, what are some of those things that fall under the not urgent and the not important. Now, all I ask you to do is go ahead and identify, what are some of the things right now in your life that are urgent and important, and get your list. Okay, there's urgent and important. What are some of the things in your life that are not urgent, but they do need to be attended to? Not yet, but do. And then once again, what are some of those things, some of those tasks, rituals that you need to do that to identify, what are urgent but aren't important? The first thing is getting conscious of what's not important. Okay, it's not important, and it can actually be left alone or can be avoided altogether. Okay, but it's sort of, you know, especially with us being switched on with this whole 24-hour roadrunner syndrome, you know, wanting everything now. Okay, what are some of those things? As I said, some of those emails, phone calls, all that sort of stuff. And lastly, what are some of your procrastinations? Okay, what are some of those strategies that you're using, okay, to avoid you from doing the things that you really should be doing? Okay. So I'm just going to say one thing, is if this is left unattended, this not urgent and not important, and left neglected, okay, what has a tendency to happen is that all of a sudden, everything becomes urgent and becomes important. And that then leads to stress, okay? Obviously down here, the not urgent, not important, they're our typical little time vampires. So we want to really be conscious of what they are and put some strategies in place to avoid those. And here, I'm going to put a bit of a cross, a red cross, if you can see that. Okay? There's some of the avoidance strategies that we use to make sure that we're not attending to those things that are fulfilling and inspiring our life. It's like almost like an escapism. So go ahead and do that. Go ahead and do this little simple little process. Okay? And then what I want you to do is go ahead and get some action steps. You know, none of these processes are any good without action. So go ahead and get a really simple action process, 1, 2, 3, 4 items, whatever you want to do. Take action, take massive action, and get started now. If you have any questions about this process or any other processes, make sure you get onto my website, if I can pronounce it properly, at www.deancasmento.com.au, or shoot me an email at info@deancasmento.com.au. I'm more than happy to answer any questions, guys. So, this 4-quadrant urgent important task, simple process, easy process that can be used in a diverse range, especially when we're looking at prioritizing and managing our time and getting things done on time. Okay, thanks guys. Thank you for listening for episode number 3. Stay tuned for episode number 4 coming to you shortly. Take care and bye.